All right, so let's create an orders view file here. And in here, we just want to go ahead and create a view where we have the orders. So let's create a folder here where we have orders. And in here, we want to create a few things such as the index with later.php. This is going to be the one we're going to be showing. We're going to be showing, because this is the orders one, this is all of them. We want to show orders.index. We want to have xapp layout. And we want to basically in here have a div with text for now. And we will basically just pass through all the orders the user has. If we go into our user model, you can see we have this orders relationship. What we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and pass through a variable called orders, and we can just say request users orders. And we can take it with product as well if we need to. That's fine. So what should happen now if you go to the web.php? As you can see, we have this orders show controller where we are able to view this. If I go to /orders now, I'm going to go here to Filament CMS. I am going to make sure we are logged in here. There we go. So let's head to the orders page. And obviously, so the order model may need a product relationship. It has a product relationship, obviously, so we need to say with products. Okay, so all I want to do in here is I want to just say for each orders as order. And I just want to pass through the order ID for now. And you see we have all these order IDs. So what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and from the home page, we can copy this here. Make sure you also run npm. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this inside another div. Here we go. So we have this small table here. So if you go to flow byte, you can see we have this sort of list group and we have all sort of options in here. We could use that as a starting point to design it. I mean, I'm not going to go for anything radical in design here. I just want to show you how to quickly implement an orders page. We could also go for a card, which I think could be more appropriate here. So we could just go ahead and say for have a div in here and then say for each products, it should be order products as product. You want to have a X, and I think we call this component in here. Let me just double check postcard or product card. So let's go ahead and see how that looks like now. At the moment that looks completely empty. So let's see what happens if we pass through product title. All right, so something is going on here. So let's just check here. Oh yeah, we may not have, we need to say essentially if order products count, otherwise else, and we know we will have variance instead. So let's go in here and pass through just the order variance and the order products. And maybe the reason why we haven't actually got anything is because we need to associate it with it when we create an order. So let's go into our filler CMS here. And in here we have the orders table, which is perfect. What we aren't actually doing yet is we're not associating the orders here. So what we want to go ahead and do is actually associate the orders with a product. So we need to have a order product table here. We need to go ahead and add that in when we create an order. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so let's go ahead before we uh, associate it with an order. Let's just go ahead and create some things in here. And you'll notice one issue, for example. The first issue is that we have in here the ability to pass in a product, but after we made the change, we never really updated this to be a variant ID. So we want to go ahead and take a look at that now. So if we make sure that we have the ability to in here pass through order product, and that's fine, that's perfect. We also want to be able to pass through the variants, which we're going to be working on later. So we have that plural functionality. It's basically just duplicating that and checking if we have products or variants, just like we're doing here. So we're going to create an order variance migration, basically. So all you want to go in here and do now is basically, in this case, we only want to display per order, we only want to display one card. So we just want to go ahead and say X product card. And what you can do in here is we could display the first one, or we could just display the price of the product. So it's really up to you. I'm just giving you some options here to go by. I actually think to keep it simplified, I don't really want to go ahead and determine how you should design this. Otherwise, this course would be too long. So I'm just going to go ahead and put through the order total. And you can see we have the total there. So let's put a dollar sign ahead of that. And let's make this a class flex. Justify between. Okay, good. Then in here, let's put this into a if, and in here, we just want to put in price. We want to have a class of text Excel, and we want to have it as font bold, and then actually we don't need it as font bold. What we want to do instead is make sure that the dollar sign has a class of font bold. That will now go ahead and look a bit different. And then I want to go ahead and I just want to say this as text 1 to Excel. The dollar sign is a tiny bit bigger. And outside of that, we could also instead just go ahead and use the money formatter here. And I think we should do that. So if we just go ahead and say money, obviously we have the currency there. So that's kind of where the issue comes in. So we could leave it there, or we can cut it off. That's up to you. I'm going to just leave it like this. Then we'll go ahead and create another div here. In here, we just want to have a class of text to Excel, and we want it to be with the basically title of the product or the order basically. So we want to get the order products first, title. Okay, so we're getting an issue there. We can also pass in other things in here. So let's see what data we got to work with here. So we got the whole orders table here. We got order UID, we got the order processing, and we also got the ability in here to just pass through the products and then just say 0. And then we would just say title. Okay, perfect. So at the moment, this looks a bit bad. So you could go ahead and put this into a product card. I'm going to go ahead and just take a card here from Flowbyte for now, just to make it look a little bit nicer, but we're getting the proper data here. So let's see. Yeah, I think we're going to go with this one. So if we go back into code base, just going to close this off. Instead, let's use this as the design. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pass this in as the title here. And I'm going to remove this read more button. Instead, what we're going to put in is what the price you paid for it. And you can see this is what you paid, but obviously we want to get rid of the basically the background color and all that. So and we don't need this boilerplate text here. Instead, I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm going to create a paragraph in here where we put in the created at date. And we should probably also get the first picture of the order. So let's go ahead and just put that at the top. And let's just say order product first image as object. And we want to say object cover. And then in here, we just want to say get first media URL. As you can see here, we now have this small picture here. We need to obviously fix this HTML here as well. I don't think we want to put in the date like that. So let's just leave that here and let's put the alt text as order products first. And let's just put in the title. Again, this is not very pretty, which I'll omit. But as you can see, if we go ahead and associate other products numbers here, that will fix that problem. So let's go ahead and associate the products now. So to do that, what we want to go ahead and do is we want to just iterate through the card items. For each, we want to say this, and we want to get the card items as well. So let's see where we have those. We have this array of items inside the checkout page. So let's go to checkout.blade.php. We just used items there, yeah. So we want to go through for each of these items as item. And then here we just want to say order products. We want to attach it. Variants we don't need anymore. We need to update that migration. And we want to pass in the quantity as well. And that should be it. So let's go ahead and see how this works when we now go ahead and check out. So now I've gone ahead and checked out. I'm going to pass in random name here. And we get an error. So no value in column price of order product. Okay, so we have the ability in the order products one here to pass through the price, but we don't have the price in the card items model, I think it is. So if we go in here, you'll see we don't have the price. So we need to actually say item product. Right. All right. So what we actually also need to make sure we do is inside here, we need to go into our migration here where we create the order products table. So let's go ahead and delete all of the card items, all of the orders, and then all I want to go ahead and do is search for the order product. So go ahead and delete that. And I'm going to go into the migrations folder. And I'm going to find that migration where we create that orders product table. So we have the ability to actually search for that here. So if we go into our file, you can just copy paste this, go filters, on searching for any column, delete that one. And let's go ahead and update this now so it's a bit more relevant. So we want to have a product ID and we want to have a variant ID. And I think we should both have these as nullable, by the way. So let's go ahead and make sure of that. And then outside of that, we want to make sure we have the quantity, but we don't need this one anymore. So let's go ahead and migrate that. That's it there. So what we want to go ahead and do now is check that instead of calling it some model, we will set this inside to say if item variant, otherwise we assume it's a product. So in here, I'm just going to go ahead and let's just make sure we pass this through here. And in here, we will do nothing for now. So we'll just leave this out. We want to attach basically everything related to the model there. But then in here, we know that item is a product. So all we just want to do is just make sure we get the correct details. And if it's a variant, what we want to do inside the order table And we want to make sure we actually remove this variance here. We want to actually just call the same function. The only difference is that in here, you want to attach the variant ID and the variant price. So let's go ahead and try that out now. So what we forgot to change in here, and you probably already noticed this, is we need to change this to variance. Outside of that, let's go ahead inside here again to here and delete this one. Let's find all the products deleted, delete all the orders, migrated. We're getting an issue. So the reason why we're getting this issue is because if we, for example, look inside the products table or inside, let's take a look. Create product variations table, for example. It's because we're using this products variations table as well. So we want to make sure we call it product variations instead. There we go. So I've changed the code around a bit to simplify it. So we have the pivot data here. If variant exists, we associate it here. Otherwise, we will say item product ID, or in the case that item product ID is empty, we will say item variant, and we will basically go through in here to the product ID. So as you can see, for example, inside card items, and we go ahead, let's add the products t-shirt. You can see we have product ID and we have variant ID. But in case we don't have it set, then we will try to go to the variant ID. So that should work now. Let's go ahead and click checkout. And let's take a look in the database. So we got the order here. And if we go into the order products, you can now see that we've created this product, we put in the price that the person paid for it, and that's all for this video. So thank you very much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.